something I have been dreading. And I have a quick rule, because some girls here, Lauren Holla, are players who play for me in high school. And in high school, because they don't know me as well, I've only been here, they're still a little scared. And what happens in this room tonight stays in this room tonight.
This is LA. Hey, this is Las Vegas.
That is a rule, or I'm just calling this thing right now. Seriously, this is a night I've looked forward to, and somewhat dreaded for a while. And it's probably I'm going to do some rather embarrassing things this evening, so I'll just start with that.
Trivia! There is a prize package available for all of us who can figure out which Frenzy player will have played the most games in Frenzy history.
Nancy.
I didn't say how you win, so I'm just leaving that to Walter. First the mechanics are. We had a great year. As of right now, after our outstanding performance today, we are 29-11. We have beaten some of the best teams in New England. And every day we go to battle, and the schedule we played this year was a schedule unlike any other we played. We played every top team. We played kids going to BC, going to Vanderbilt, going to South Carolina, one kid going to Georgia. We played against kids from we were going to all the top schools in the country, and we have held our own every single time and won more than our share. I've said, and when people ask me about our team, one of the guys who runs Rhode Island Breakers, he's probably the most well-known AAU coach, and I said, we don't have anybody on our team who is the star of their high school team, except maybe with a couple exceptions. We have is a bunch of kids who are a little tougher and wanted a little more and play with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder, and I love coaching those kinds of kids. It becomes incredibly easy to coach them. And when you get to this level, coaching means so little because it's their talent and their heart and their desire that wins games. And for that, it's something that makes my life real easy as a coach. So we've had a really good year. And on the basketball court, we had a really good year. And the one thing I just want to sort of start as a theme is that people always ask me, you coach high school, you coach AAU, what's the difference? High school is great. I love coaching high school, but you go home after practice, you don't necessarily get to know all the parents that well. AAU, the reason I love AAU, and some people are high school coaches who coach AAU, I'm an AAU coach who coaches high school. The thing that makes this special for me is the kids, getting to know them off the court, getting to know the families off the court. I have made friends that I think will be friends of mine for a long time if they choose to stay friends with me. I think it's still up in the air with the Eckerts. They're not too sure whether they want to know me after this weekend. But they're people that I probably never would have met in a million years, but have become a second family. For those of you who don't know, I have a second child on the way. My wife's family is out in Boston, and my parents are close by, but my siblings aren't. And really, our basketball family is our second family. Those who know, we have people over our house every year to decorate our tree. We have people over for 4th of July.
That's because they got cheap labor.
It's cheap labor, you're damn right. And it's a big deal to me. And it's the family that has been created by our team is very important to me, and it means a lot. And I think we have been fortunate to have great kids and great parents. Now, just quickly, individually, I want to bring our kids up, and we have a gift for them. We're going to start with Rachel Filkins. Don't come up till I'm done. Rachel, for those of you who don't know, drives probably an hour and a half to our practices every day from Richmond. She joined our team after our roster was full, and we couldn't promise her any playing time, but she still is at practice every single day, driving an hour and a half to play. And we've been able to get her in some games, but it was never promised, and she has worked her butt off every single day. And I am amazed by it, and we talk about it every day, how she comes to work every day, and she's been a great help and a great inspiration to me in a lot of ways. Rachel Filkins. And just so we know that there's going to be an order to this, and I was trying to figure out the order to do some alphabetical, so it's going to be, as least as I could remember, the order and the people joined our team. Next up is someone who's not here tonight, is Mel Steer. She plays for me in high school. She's played for us a little this year. She's a soccer player. She's fit as soon as she can, but she works really hard, and she's helped us, especially the last couple weeks. That's Mel Steer. Next up is someone who's new to our team this year. She comes as a 1,000-point scorer from her high school team. She's one of the reasons we wanted her so bad in this team, is she brought a toughness that I thought we lacked a little bit at times. And she stands up to anybody, especially Earl. And that's an important thing on our team. And that's Katie Brigani from Apple. And we have a little present for each of the kids. Next up is somebody who's not here, and this is not a joke because she has swine flu, which I personally take a huge amount of blame for, because we have a play, when it's our isolation play, we call it swine. And I feel very guilty that someone on our team actually caught that disease. And so next time we have a tournament, she's able to be here. The first play of the game is going to be Swine Kylie, and that's Kylie Cleveland. So she's not here. Next up is someone that has been through a lot this week. She joined us this year as well. I saw her play. We played against her in AU a couple times over the past few years, and I saw her in summer league, and I immediately walked up to her mother and I said, she needs to be playing on a high-level team. And Abney is, aside from basketball, is the most fantastic singer in the entire world. For those of you who decide to watch our DVD that we have later, which will be out, we'll show them the thing, you will bear witness to the glory that is Abney Davies. But for right now, Abney had surgery this week, and she'll probably take a little while to get her, but she suffered through a lot to drive up here 3 hours to be with her teammates, and that says a lot about who she is and the kind of family she comes from. And so I'd like to recognize Abney Davies. Slowly, don't trip on the dance floor.
Oh my God, that's
you can hold it for us. Next up is someone who probably has had, in a very important way, effect on our organization growing as much as she could. First time I saw her was, I coached Bay State games 2 years ago, and I'd never really seen her, never really talked to her. She came in the gym, I found out she was from Lee, and I said, oh, she's never going to want to drive all the way out here to play. And honestly, since Katie was the first Berkshire player to come play for us, and since then, one of the reasons we've gotten so good is because we had so many Berkshire players come play for us, and it has expanded our talent pool, it has brought in really good players, and she was the first of many, and her nickname on our team is Jeffy, and I will explain that quickly. We were doing a drill shortly after I'd watched a movie that featured a character named Jeffy. And she came out and she was doing this drill and she tripped over one of the lines. And I immediately said that's Jeffy. And it has stuck, and except until this weekend where she became Myrtle. But that's a whole other issue. So I'd like to recognize our point guard, Katie Eckert. Oh, this one's going to be so nice.
Try not to yell at her.
There's a player on every team I have, and Lauren Hall can attest to this in high school, who I sort of make the person I'm probably the hardest on. And on my AAU team, it is Justine. And Justine gets it because Justine has as much talent as anybody I've ever coached. She can do anything with a basketball. She can shoot, she can drive, she can play defense when she chooses to. And she is, aside from all that, she has probably become closer to my wife and my son. My son wants to marry Justine. All he does when he walks in, he goes, "Steve!" And he just wants her. Justine is really a tremendous kid, and I am incredibly proud to have coached her, and she's someone I think will be a part of my family for a long time to come, Justine King. I made her cry. Next up is another person who I probably have a hard time not getting a little emotional about, the Chief's daughter. And the story I'll tell about her is the first day Katrina, I got an email from her mom saying, I'd like my daughter to come try out for your team. And so Katrina came, I said, sure, she could try out. And then during the tryout, I get a call from this number I don't recognize, and I pick up the phone, and it's her dad. I said, I just want to tell you, my goal in Katrina coming to your practice, and the reason I sent her to you is because I thought if she came to try out for you, she'd hate basketball so much she'd never want to play it, she'd focus on soccer. And I took that as not the greatest compliment on my coaching, but that's okay. And since then, Katrina is the second coach on the floor. Katrina is somebody who gives me more grief than anybody I'll ever know, and yet I can't get pissed off at her. But she is a kid who's very special, once again, to me and my family, and she is just a really heart and soul of our team, Katrina Caulfield. Next up is a player I knew but I didn't know when she joined us. Apparently she had gotten hurt badly against us in suburban basketball, and I didn't even know it. And then when I first met her, it was the weirdest way. She was a friend of a friend who was on the school bus with somebody else who said somebody might want to play basketball. And this really about thing I said, oh, this kid probably can't play, I don't even know. Anyway, she came to watch one of our high school games. She had a cast on, and from the minute she got that cast off, she was shooting threes. And she probably has the best shooting form of anybody I've ever seen. She's had a hard time sometimes with me busting on her about defense, and we've had our emotional moments back and forth. And sometimes I'm a little harder on it than I need to be, but she's as good a shooter as you're going to find in the state, maybe in New England. And she's a great, great kid, and that's Kate White. Next up is our center, and I had like 6 versions of what to do with this speech, and Mariah and I have more ups and downs than probably there's the last 2 weeks ago Mariah hated me more than anybody on the planet, and fortunately 3 days later she doesn't have that great a memory and she forgot about it. She dyes her hair much like me, so we have that bond. And Mariah has been playing up in age groups since we've had her, and she's been constantly battling bigger kids. And really, you know, I've never seen a kid emotionally change as much from last year to this year, and she has literally become a dominant player. And I am incredibly proud of everything she's done growing basketball-wise, but I'm more impressed with how she's grown as a person. And we've had our moments, but she knows how I feel about her, and that's Mariah LeJour. Next up is the K-Dog, as Brian would like to call her. Catherine joined our team a long time ago and has been with us and been a consistent force. And Catherine is our best recruiter. I think about half the people on our team are playing on this team because of Catherine. When we had Bay States, Catherine made a point to walk up to everybody within 5 minutes and be their friend. And Catherine has a way of bringing everybody together. She is the glue of our team. She does all the dirty jobs on her team that nobody else wants to do. She's a tremendous defensive player. She undersells her own offensive skills all the time. And she is just a tremendous kid. And you know, a couple times she's written me cards where she says, "You're practically my father." And, well, she's practically my daughter, and I'm proud of that. That's Catherine Donnelly. And last but not least, when we started this team, it was all Amherst kids. Nancy and Jenna are the only 2 left from that original team. And we remember that first year we were up in Vermont and we went 2-2 and we thought we were world beaters. We thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And if I ever said we would have been competing for state championships and winning regional championships and playing against Division I kids and beating them, I never would have thought it would have happened. Jenna does many things that drive me up a wall, and I do many things that drive Jenna up a wall. And the one thing I've never questioned with Jenna is her effort. She is 100%, 100 miles an hour all the time. She has no other speed other than full speed. some of my worst memories in life are watching her get hurt in games. It's hard when you've been coaching somebody since 5th grade to see them go down, and I've been unfortunate to see that a few times, but I've been fortunate to see her get back up. And that says more about her than anything else. She's gutted through everything. She plays her ass off for me all the time, and that's Jenna Clayson. Standing next to me are Brian Clayson, Mike Caulfield, who Brian's been coaching with me since we started this, including all the way back to Suburban, and he's incredibly helpful, and he's a very good complement to my personality. And the chief, which is, it's even harder to say, he has made me so much a better coach, and in some ways so much a better person for dealing with teenage girls. And he is just a good-hearted man, and he is somebody that I respect, and every time I have a coaching question or something to worry about, I bother him on his cell phone at some work site. I can see him when he answers. It takes him about 3 rings to decide if he wants to talk to me, but he always picks up and he always helps me, and he's been a tremendous asset, and I hope that my relationship with him and his relationship with Frenzy continues, because he is what we're about. Mike Caulfield. I know this has been going on a little while, but there's the last couple things I want to say. I want to recognize a few. There have been players who've been with our team who aren't with us anymore for a variety of reasons, but they're all part of why we've become what we've become, and part of the reason this organization exists. I could name them all, but I just want to single out a few. Molly Ross, Jennifer Ranico, Shannon Subsick, Michelle Lucas. All of them helped us develop into the team we are, and they've done a big thing in helping bring in players, and they're doing great things in their lives, and I think that they've all had an impact on what we do. And then the last thing is I'm really proud of the fact that this year, as a team that was playing a lot of college showcase tournaments, a lot of our kids had a goal of playing in college, and pretty much as of right now, every kid who has that goal is probably going to have an opportunity to play in college. And that's because as a group, they have done the things they need to do to show coaches that they deserve that opportunity. And I think that's a great thing. It says a lot about the kids. And then the last thing is that this is it's hard for me to know that this is coming to an end. These guys have been these guys have been a big part of my life. My son was born while I was coaching this team. I had 6 kids in the waiting room at the hospital when my son was born, and it's hard to know that it's coming to an end. And I clearly did not drink enough before this speech. But I really hope that even though this is coming to an end, I will see these kids graduate high school. I will see them play in college. I will hopefully be invited to some of their weddings. I will hopefully grow to see them torture their children like I torture these guys. And I hope that they are part of my life when my next child is born, and as I continue coaching this organization, helping to grow. And I owe them a lot of thanks. That's it. Thank you.
This speech's sole intention is to make you cry. We've come a long way, whether you've coached us 1 or 5 years. It has always been fun. We've had our ups and downs, Bronx. What we might not always show, we really do appreciate all the time, effort, and sacrifices you make on and off the court. Not only to make us better players, but better people. You've shown us how to completely dedicate ourselves to achieve a goal through our drives, the wonderful 2-hour practices on Friday nights, and giving up our weekends for tournaments. You've also taught us to give back as much as possible, encouraging us to go to the soup kitchen and help out with the younger teams. You've shown us what it means to give of yourself without expecting something in return. While we only spend 4 hours in the gym for practices, you spend endless hours going through game tapes and stats and doing many things that usually go unnoticed. This is our thanks because we know we don't always show it, but we really do appreciate you putting up with us for as long as you coached us. Thanks for everything. Ralph, you're our John Wooden.